you're going to be so jealous.
Why?
Your niece just told me I'm her best friend.
Oh, no way.
Yep. Suck it.
Okay, but she just told me I'm her best friend.
No, I know she didn't do that for a fact.
That does make me jealous, and now I feel like I have to move here and become her best friend.
Never mind. She hates me. Anyway, it's 3 hours ahead, so I have to go to bed. Good night, guys.
Can we talk?
It's the Bedtime Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, all of our sleepyheads, we have a wonderful guest. The first
Once in a lifetime
guest, the first family member on the pod.
The first and probably only.
You think?
Wow.
Yeah.
You might have Les or Sophie on.
Yeah.
Nope.
Maybe.
Can I say that the introduction to your show, it's incredibly Jewish, and I don't know if you are aware of it.
Which
What?
one?
It's the Bedtime Podcast.
Yeah,
Why
it's
is it
you.
Jewish?
Is you doing like a blessing before your Haftorah portion?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
Well, I think that makes
Baruch
sense.
Adonai Podcast.
This is a Jewish podcast, so I think that's totally fair.
Let me finish introducing our guest.
Okay.
Yes.
His name is Ahri Findling.
And I am related.
He is my brother. He's a comedian. He's a father. He's an uncle.
We don't know his credits. Do you know his credits?
The New York Post. Featured in the New York Post.
He
That's
opens
the
for
worst
Nikki
credit.
Glazer sometimes.
I don't know if we needed this sometimes at the end. Could have just said he opens for Nikki Glazer.
He opens for Nikki Glazer on occasion.
Yes, once in when the moon is in the third quadrant,
She gives you a call.
she gives me a call. What are my credits? Comedy Central.
He
wrote for the
almost
roasts.
sold a game show.
Well, technically, I sold it,
Oh.
but it will not be made.
But it will not. That's pretty amazing.
The show that will not be named
The show that will not
Voldemort. Yeah.
The show we cannot say out loud.
Can I ask you a question?
Be. Yeah.
How do you like my bed?
I don't like the headboard, but I think it's nice otherwise.
Oh, go fuck yourself. What do you
What?
mean you don't like my headboard?
I think it's too gray. Your room could use a bit of color.
I agree. And Leslie will not let me paint color.
It's very I feel like it's very like East Coast of you guys to have such
Stop
What?
your fucking war on the East Coast.
It's not a war. It's a battle that I
You
have won
Yeah,
many
it's
times.
not a war because I won it.
It's
You-
gloomy.
You don't like the East Coast, and everyone knows it.
I do like it for vacay.
Right.
For vacay,
But
not
what
for
about a
stay.
white room makes it East Coast?
I just feel like that's how a lot of like the East Coast women I see decorate, like and men. It's like a lot of gray, a lot of beige, not a lot of color.
Yeah.
It's true.
You walk into a lot of rooms on the East Coast and you go, these people are probably sad.
Yeah, it's beige.
Yeah, I don't know why there's no color in this goddamn part of the country.
Because our personalities are colorful.
Yeah, they have enough of it in their head.
Now, come on. You thought about that. You're like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
No, it didn't. It didn't make sense to
Feels like
me.
it did.
I don't like that you guys are fighting.
We're not fighting.
You're
We're not.
bickering.
We're not bickering. We're on the same team, and you're our enemy.
Yes.
Um,
More often than not, Syd and I are on each other's team against our extended family.
Mm-hmm. That's accurate.
Explain.
Syd and I are very similar in that we're both middle childs. We both, for the most part, are the most level-headed people in our family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is not true.
Yes, it is 100%.
First of all, says the guy who just got incredibly defensive. I mean, clearly not level-headed.
Not true in our family. It's true in your family, Syd.
It is
No, it's also
absolutely
true.
true in our family.
Yeah.
You are so wrong.
I think our sister is probably the most level-headed.
No.
No.
There's a difference between not absenteeism, but she removes herself from the situation.
Mhm.
That doesn't make you level-headed.
Yeah.
It just makes you non-confrontational. But she's not level-headed.
Okay.
I think I can see things objectively in our family, and I think Syd can do the same in hers.
It's the job of the middle child.
Yes.
To always be observing.
You are the interpreter of the family.
The peacekeeper, the interpreter.
Right. You are the Sean Penn.
Yes.
No. Hold on. We are the Nicole Kidman to your Sean Penn.
What movie?
The interpreter.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was like, I am Sam.
Confused the roles.
I was
Milk,
like,
actually, it's actually Milk. Milk and just that commercial for before the AMC things.
Yes.
And here we are. They are.
What?
That's the last line.
Oh,
Noah and I got stoned the other night, and I think we're still a little high.
it was too much marijuana.
It was a lot.
Stop. I don't want mom and dad to know I smoke.
Noah was so anxious afterwards, Ahri, that when we got home in bed, he went, "Am I just going to see my brother 7 times every year until I die?" So yeah, no, I'd definitely say you're not the most level-headed.
I did say that. I was actually 8 times.
He said 7.
I knew that you both had a good time and immediately missed me the next day when you're like, when can we hang out again?
Yeah.
But like you have this disease that dad has
Mm-hmm.
where you know the feature on Facebook where it's like, this is what you were doing 3 years ago. This is what you're doing. My brother and my father are the human equivalent of like, this is where you were 5 years ago. This is where you were 1 year ago. And it's like, we see each other more than 7 times a year. And just, we had fun. Just let us have fun. And then we'll have fun the next time we see each other.
No. I got to know.
Why?
I
Because then you're going to count. Would you want to know, both of you, would you want to know, if you could find out when you died, would you want to know
Yeah.
the date?
Yeah.
And then you would just count down.
I think I would like reprioritize some stuff if I
Why-
knew when I was going to die. Or
Why
if
not
I
just reprioritize?
because right now I just get to abandon hope and live as I should. But if I knew exactly, I would probably, give up some career stuff. Wouldn't matter as much.
Hmm.
Which it also doesn't matter.
Right.
But I do want to have money.
Who doesn't want money? You can afford a nice big bed like this.
Mm-hmm.
back to the bed. I like that you have a king.
I can't believe I've been telling you guys for years to get a king
We
bed.
don't need one. We're little.
It's not about size of the human.
Syd and I like to
it's-
hold each other.
So do we.
No. In this bed,
In
There's no holding.
In this economy,
you're not holding anything in this bed.
A king would also be too big for our bedroom. We live in an apartment from the 40s. It's too small.
our bedrooms are roughly the same size.
You've never seen our bedroom.
You've never seen our bedroom. Our
Your new-
bedroom's so small.
This is a new place?
New
Yeah.
place.
New place.
I can't keep track how much you guys move.
We barely move.
What? We've moved 7 times since we've known each other.
What do you mean you barely move?
We barely move.
I have stayed at least 5 different apartments in 6 years.
That's not true. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 apartments.
The apartment before you lived together as well.
Okay, fine. 5.
Fine.
The house?
Yes,
Oh,
Finding
man.
the right apartment in LA is very hard.
I get it.
And probably similarly in New York.
When Syd and I first moved in together, Ahri and I had some meetings to do for creative work.
Purposes.
For creative work. And Ahri stayed in this house that we were staying with other people the first week of our time living together.
I literally bought a bed.
You were
I
staying in
bought
like
a
a
bedspread. I was staying in a storage room with a bunch of drum kits,
yeah, you were just surrounded by instruments.
and I bought my own expensive air mattress.
I think we still have it.
Yeah,
No.
no,
We
you
got a
popped
new
it.
one. Oh, we popped it.
We didn't
Noah
pop
popped
it. I didn't pop it. It popped. It wasn't me.
Level-headed reaction, Noah.
Definitely somebody who's the
reaction.
level-headed person.
The youngest child is never the most level-headed.
Yeah,
No, we're the most emotional.
Yeah.
100%.
We're the babies.
Yeah.
So I bought a bed. I bought pillows. I bought a.
Still have the pillows.
Well, here's the funny thing. Okay, so I bought a big expensive queen air mattress that costs $200 and something. I bought sheets because I at that point that year when we were trying to sell that thing, I came out
So many times.
you can say too many.
No, it wasn't too many.
It was great.
It was like 6 times in 6 months.
Yeah.
And then like the year after that, when we sold a different thing, I came out like once a month for 4 months.
Yeah.
For like a week. And you guys graciously would let me stay because it makes like bad fiscal sense for me to stay somewhere else at that point in our careers.
Yeah.
And I would come stay with you. And every time I came back, I would have less and less of the things that I purchased and they would be on your bed. So when I first came, it was the sheets. I had a mattress, I had a mattress pad, and I had 2 pillows and I had a body pillow. The next time I came back, my sheets were on your bed. The next time I came back, I didn't have the mattress topper. And then the mattress is now popped. I have nothing left.
We bought a new mattress.
We bought a new one for you.
Oh, for me.
It was
Yeah.
for my friend Sally.
Exactly.
But you could sleep on it.
You can sleep on it.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah.
You're one of the only people that Syd lets stay.
I don't let a lot of people stay with us.
It's Syd and it's Sally. Sorry. It's Ahri and it's Sally.
Yeah.
You've confused Syd for my daughter this morning, and you've confused me for Syd just now. Do you know your wife?
I've been confusing Syd for a lot of people lately.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I called a colleague of mine at work whose name is Sean Syd. I called a man Syd.
The woman? Oh, the man? Oh my God.
Do you ever call Syd Sarah?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one's weird.
That one's weird.
And I call her mom. That one's weirder.
Sometimes I call Les Sarah.
Gross.
You
And
never call her mom?
No. But here's a weird thing.
You guys have a mommy thing in bed?
Oh my God, Noah.
Okay,
I don't
no,
want to
no.
hear about it.
Okay, it's a generalized fear to say another person's name in bed. And I thought about it. I've never said my wife's name in bed. It would be do you ever say each other's names?
It is kind of weird.
How great. It's like, when like you're you're watching a pilot episode of a TV show and they're just trying to force the characters' names into sentences where you're like, we get it. His name's Jack.
Yeah.
Hi, Jonathan. I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like no human being would ever do it. Like I have never been having sex and said the person's name, not once.
Yeah.
It's kind of erotic.
No, I think it'd
I
be
think
weird to
it's-
go like Syd.
Yeah.
Because it's also not a sexy name.
Yeah.
Noah. If your name was like
Keep it in your pants. Sid.
Scarlet.
We're in my bed right now. So it's just like,
Scar-
oh, I kind of got turned on.
Yeah. Noah. Yeah.
But yeah, the king is a nice touch.
Wait, why am me and Sally am I a good house guest?
You just don't bother me. And Sally doesn't bother
You're a
me.
house guest, and it's also like you're coming. If you need a place to stay and you're in LA, you're going to stay with us.
There was one time that I came
There was
and
one
Syd
time.
was like, I don't want him to stay.
I
When
think we
was
were
that?
just we
I
were
think
like
we had just moved in
You
together.
had just moved.
into the cockroach place.
Oh yeah, it was the fucking cockroach place.
We were in the middle of moving out of the
yeah,
house.
you literally couldn't stay with us.
So there really was nowhere to stay.
and
Yeah.
it was filled with cockroaches.
You didn't know that at the time, though.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
No,
We-
not you knew that when you had already
got
told
there.
me. Yeah, you had already told me not to stay there, which is
Oh.
totally fine. And I got a hotel room for that night, and
Well,
I
it's
almost
lucky you did,
for that week, and I
honestly.
almost killed myself. I mean, it was one of the worst hotel experiences of my life.
Was it worse than the cockroach apartment?
No,
Yeah.
that place was kind of gross.
That place was so horrible. That's tragic. To be a landlord and just let your building be overrun by cockroaches is upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm not a landlord. That and I don't have millions of dollars, but
Yeah.
definitely the cockroach thing first.
Yeah. One of my first favorite memories when I first
She
met
saw me
Ahri, was this might have been the first time you came, but it was when Noah and I didn't live together.
Mm-hmm.
I had perioded it all over Noah's bed at one point, and so his sheets were stained brown.
Okay.
And you came in and you were like, Jesus, Noah, you shit the bed. And I went, no, that's my that's my period blood. And you were like, oh, okay. And you both looked so
I have no memory of this. What,
uncomfortable.
do you have a memory of this?
I don't remember this. Where
I
were we
love
living?
this
Are you
memory.
sure this was us?
Yeah, it was at Noah's old apartment before we moved in together. And I remember thinking, wow, What sweet little boys that they're like, we can't make fun of this.
Period blood. I have no memory of this.
Well,
I block a lot of things out. This doesn't feel like something I would block out because I have a very vivid memory, and I remember meeting you.
you do?
Yes,
At Hyperion Tavern?
Is that where we met?
I think that's where you met. Or
In
maybe that's where we
Hyperion
hung out
Public.
first.
And I remember I asked you a whole bunch of questions.
We played like a game.
We played a game. I asked you like my 10 get to know you questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after that night I went home because I knew that you were it.
Wow.
And I wrote, I quickly, I was like, I want to remember this when I give a wedding speech or something,
Which you never got to give.
which I never got to give. And I ended up losing this note on my phone because I lost my phone and my mind in the same day during the pandemic. And I wrote down all of your answers.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't have it anymore.
Can you give us a little preview of what a wedding speech might have been?
I was just saying, can you do it? I've always wanted you to do it.
I know, we want it.
Well, I never like fully wrote it.
Well, yeah,
but
because we never had a wedding.
I was never going to do, first of all, nothing bothers me more. And if any of you are listening and you're about to give a toast at a bridesmaid or a groomsman, do not start by saying, for those of you who don't know me, I am X, Y, or Z. It does not fucking matter. They know you. You are not the goddamn like poet laureate giving a fucking poem at the inauguration. Okay.
It's also like, yeah, no one, it doesn't matter. You're the guy up there with the mic. No
For
one's
those of
like,
you
who is that?
You're the bridesmaid.
Yeah.
No one cares. They'll never think of your name ever again. You are bridesmaid. You shouldn't even be allowed to say your name. Like the band at my wedding was called Fat Pocket. We said you can never say your name at the wedding.
Hey, we're Fat Pocket.
Right.
No.
You never say, it's just like sex. You never say your fucking name.
I love it.
Okay. So I was not going to go the roast route because I didn't want to do that.
Thank
I was
God.
going to focus a lot on that as an older brother, you're meant to be the person to give wisdom and knowledge and advice to the younger brother. But I think that we had some sort of Freaky Friday situation and that our lives were kind of reversed where I felt like as the older brother, I was looking to him for advice a lot,
Wow.
especially career-wise. And that when I met you, similar to when I met my wife, I knew instantly that I was going to marry her. And when I met you, I felt the same about you and him.
Wow.
And I had met all of his previous girlfriends, and they were just a fucking worst people. And here's the thing is like, I never told him that I didn't like his previous girlfriends. And he got mad at me that I didn't do that.
That would have been crazy, Noah.
I mean, I don't want to sidetrack you because I think we're on a good track right now.
So then don't
Just
try and
live
talk
in the
about-
moment.
Okay, but
Stop doing the Facebook thing.
I guess I'm just saying, why would you, if I was going to marry one of those other people and
Because you never got that
You
far.
weren't.
but you would have said something.
Absolutely.
You would have been like, I don't think so.
Absolutely.
And then I would have
I
resented
don't
you.
think so, honey. That's what I
Yeah.
would have said.
I would have resented you.
If I said that then.
Don't you think I would have been like, knowing me and how unlevel-headed I am,
I
I've
was
been like,
gonna say,
you
I
don't
thought
you don't fucking know my life. I love her.
Okay.
Yeah, but you would have been wrong.
let's
Yeah.
move on, Noah.
Wait, no, keep going. Ari.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What?
Keep going
What's
with your
this-
speech.
With your speech.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that I knew that both that you were going to be right for him instantly.
What did you see?
Let him keep going.
Sorry.
I saw that he both looked to you for confirmation, meaning like when in previous relationships, he would not like kind of take into account their opinion in a decision
Interesting.
because I don't think he really valued it. And I noticed that like when I would be like, I think the first night I met you, I go, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And he looked to you first
Wow.
before he answered the question. Because either he wanted to make sure that you didn't have plans, meaning like you came first before me, or just that he wanted to make sure that you were included in our plans.
Wow.
And I also felt a connection with you where like one of my biggest fears, because of the nature of our parents and their siblings, significant others' relationships, was that we were all going to get older and grow apart and go, God, I got to go fucking see our Noah's brother. And I never wanted that.
Yeah.
So I was very scared about who he would marry because I didn't want to 30 years from now go, God, this fucking Syd sleeping over. She's going to have her period in my fucking bed. I didn't want to have any of that shit. So I was like trying to make like a real, like, not that I would like we were dating, but I was like, I'm going to ask you questions because I want to find out who you are independently from him because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And like, I want to make sure that you're the right person for me to fucking grow old with. But like, I don't think that I think that we all have friends and siblings and cousins who are married and dating people who you don't fucking like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe not don't like, but you're just like, I can't hang with this person.
Right.
Truly
like,
don't like.
Right. And given how close we are, I couldn't deal with that.
Yeah.
I would have put it, and this is my own narcissism. I would have put a stop to the relationship, which is not fair. I'm agreeing it's not fair.
No, I think that's fine.
I made sure, and Syd and I have talked about this before, I made sure to marry. I wanted to marry someone who wanted to be close with my family, who supported me being close with my family, who was like, okay, if I can't come, he will. She'll come.
Yeah.
And you've said this before that like, this past summer, Syd had to work and I came and you were saying how Syd is the glue to the glue.
Yeah. Everyone wants me to be happy.
The two of you are the glue to me, my wife, my child, our sister, her husband, their two kids, and our parents. You two are the Nicole Kidman to our Sean Penn.
The interpreter.
You are the interpreter.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because like you give there, I think Nate Bargatze has this joke where he says that like his younger sister was raised by like her best friends and I was raised by like strict parents. Like we were raised by different parents. And I think that like you have a perception of mom and dad that I don't have, and you guys can kind of like treat them more almost as equals than I can. Like you can kind of like do your own thing where I still kind of feel like I'm under their control.
You still feel like that?
To a certain extent when we like are all hanging out. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a weird thing when you have kids. When you have kids, you have a perception of like, well, am I raising them in the way that they raised me, that made me the person that I am, that will make her the person I want her to be? It's like a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. You guys always feel like you're pausing for commercial breaks. I love it.
Yeah.
No, I felt similarly about you too, because I would come hang out with you and Leslie and Sophie without Noah. Like, I would come stay here without him.
Yeah.
And that was very important to me because before Noah, I dated a guy whose family I hated so much that one time I think I've told this. I got in a car accident with.
Yeah, you've told it on the pod.
Yeah, that where I hit his mother's car with my own car because
on purpose.
No, but
yes,
my sister thinks I manifested it, and
possible.
So I couldn't do that again because so much of my time was spent absolutely hating those people, and that's not good for you.
No, but it's also like I think that you should have a relationship where. And I know that you guys have this because we've talked about it. And Leslie and I have this with her parents is like, you need to be able to have a relationship with your partner that you can talk shit about your family and their family.
See, this is interesting because sometimes, okay, I have a really good friend of mine. His dad, the advice before he got married, his dad said to him, you're not allowed to talk shit about her parents and she's not allowed to talk shit about your parents. Like that's like the key to a happy marriage. And I I don't know what to believe, because sometimes when Syd maybe will say something, or I'll say something about her family, I feel very guilty. Like, I'm like, oh, this feels like bad.
It's all in approach and in like the belief. Like, I will complain about Leslie's father. I love Leslie's father.
Of course.
You have to think about, like, let's break down most of my complaints around when I see Leslie's family. Anytime that we see Leslie's family, they live out of town from us. We do, like Syd does, 7 days at a clip.
Yeah.
Okay. When we see my family, we do 4 hours at a clip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would cut off my fucking toes if I had to spend 7 days with my family.
Yep.
So I totally understand, like, the frustration when people complain. It's like, if I were able to have a normal human relationship with her parents, where we could just see them and then not see them and then see them and then not see them, it would make our relationship different. So when I complain, I have to go, okay, is this issue that I'm complaining about just because I've been in this guy's presence for 7 days? Or is it because there's some fundamental thing wrong in our relationship? And there's not. It's just because I'm with them for 7 days. So when I complain about it to Leslie, it doesn't bother her, because she knows, like, I'm just venting because I happen to need to vent.
Yeah.
And not because I don't dislike somebody.
Here's where I think to take it personally, just to begin with, is just wrong. Like, you have to let that person
But
complain.
you do take it personally. And
I've gotten a lot better.
Upset. He has gotten better.
Because I'm just like, I like what Ahri's saying. Like, I have to give you that space.
I think what you don't do well,
Yeah.
and I mean this sincerely, I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I think it's a character flaw for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm like, I don't think it's a bad, like, we could do a 2-hour podcast about my character flaws.
No, let's do it on me.
Yeah.
Okay. I think one of your
Please,
character
go.
flaws is that.
Tell me what's wrong with me.
Can I have a piece of paper?
No, go. Why don't you write it
Noah,
down?
let him talk.
Okay.
Okay. So I think one of the big character flaws that you have is that sometimes you vent to the wrong person.
Uh-huh.
And you will, like, when you and I were working together, like when we were making our show, you would vent to me about me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
And
God.
and you would be like, well, this is like, it's just like, this is, and like, you need to find a person to vent to that is not affiliated with the thing, so that you can, because you're not you don't want anything changed. You just want to vent.
Totally.
And to vent to the person who's immediately causing the frustration doesn't help the situation, because then I just think you're blaming me and want me to change, when you're literally, you just need to vent.
Yeah, I mean, it's confusing because you two are the people I vent to about things. But when I have to vent about you two, I don't know who to go to.
You just need one more person.
I need a third.
You do
vent
need a third.
You vent about Syd to me. You vent about me to Syd, and then you need a third to vent about, the both of us to them.
Yeah.
And then you don't vent about that person.
Well,
I think
no.
what we're describing is a therapist.
Yeah.
I think that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll be back. We'll be back after this break.
Were you making the joke that I made?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I didn't know what to say.
Oh.
Sometimes you can just,
Sit in the silence.
no, you don't have to sit in the silence. You can find a way to smoothly transition to, another topic that you wanted to talk about.
Well, I had more to say, actually.
Great.
Which
Go.
is, I think no one ever had a girlfriend as serious as me.
True.
So he wasn't prepared for someone to be annoyed at his family or like to be like stressed out being with his family that he cared so much about too.
I met like his previous girlfriend. I met like them each once.
Yeah. So, he wasn't prepared for someone to know his family as intimately as I began to know them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sexual.
and I don't know why this was such a thing at the beginning of our relationship. He was so sensitive about how I always thought there wasn't enough salt in any of the food.
Okay. Have you talked about the salt thing?
No.
Okay. Our mom has a vestibular disease where she gets vertigo, basically, for the lack of a better term, if she has high salt. So for the last 10 years or so, she has not used salt in any cooking, period, full stop. And to the layman, if they came into this house, they'd spit the food out and say, why is there no salt? This doesn't taste like anything. But to us, it's normal. And we put our own salt on our own food like Americans. Noah, another character flaw.
Mm-hmm.
Noah takes any point of fact as an indictment of him. So like Noah and I will be on the phone, and I'm sure you have a lot of listeners in Los Angeles. Okay?
Yeah.
Los Angeles has a black belt in bad cell phone service. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Noah and I talk almost every day when we're not super busy, and his calls drop a lot and I can't hear him. And I'll call back and be like, and I'll just say like, talk. And I'm like, hey, man, I can't hear you. Just call me when you're in cell phone service. And I hear him in the background just like, oh, my fucking service is so bad. Oh, it's mine. It's my fucking service. I'm the fucking bad person. And I'm like, no, you just happen to be in bad cell phone service. You're not a bad person. You're not like, it's just a fact. Syd is saying, okay, the food at mom and dad's house does not have a lot of salt. She's not going, man, fuck your parents. They don't put salt in their food. She's going, no, I'm just going to go put salt in my food.
I think it all comes from, I mean, the cell phone services, that's just me being a maniac. But the stuff in the beginning with the parents and the friends, it's like, I want you to be a part of my life so much. I want you to be there. I want people to know you. I don't want you to be like, you know, an imaginary camp girlfriend. I want you to be like this person that people can feel and touch and know.
I don't think that's what it is.
What do you think it is?
I think he has can I diagnose for a second?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Noah, like me, has been cheated on a bunch. Okay. And I think that he has such a fear of abandonment that the littlest blip that you'll be like, there's no salt. We're getting divorced. And I think
I don't know.
You have such a fear of abandonment that you want to make everything perfect and you want to please her to the point of,
yeah, I guess there I connect with that.
like you will oftentimes, I know you talked about this on Amy's episode because I listened to it, but like you will
one of the only ones.
What?
Noah.
One of the only ones you listen to.
He has a child.
What?
He's saying you don't listen to the podcast.
No, that wasn't what he was saying.
Nice. Yeah, that is what I was saying.
Oh. I listened to a couple.
No, I'm kidding.
But you got to understand that there are some things that it's not because I don't love you.
Of course.
Or I don't support you guys.
Yeah.
I repost your stuff.
You don't think we're talented?
It's that I don't think you're talented. No, it's that like there are certain things that are like your podcast is great.
Yeah.
It is not for me.
Sure.
Not that I don't enjoy it. You're not making the podcast for me.
No, we're making it for
Right.
other people like us.
And there are certain things that like I want to have a normal familial relationship with the two of you and not know all of the inner depths of your brains.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
And I pick and choose where I listen to, where I feel like I'm going to get the amount of you two that I want while not getting the part that I don't want, like knowing the colors of Noah's penis.
It's striped like a candy cane.
Right.
Okay, wait, no, but we cut you off. What were we talking about?
Amy, got it.
Oh, yeah.
You make Syd out to be this person that she is not
Yeah.
for fear of angering her, even though she has not said anything to the sort.
Yeah.
Like, well, you'll be like, we have to go hang out in the closet because Syd wants to watch TV. And it's like,
Insane.
what are you talking
Insane.
about? You're like, no, we'll watch it on my Apple Watch on my in the closet. we'll watch a full movie because Syd wants to watch the news. It's like,
Insane.
and then I'll be like, Syd, is it cool if we watch a TV? She's like, yeah, of course.
All right. I mean, maybe you feel like this. Sometimes I feel that Syd is so supportive and generous and caring. And I just like want to repay. I want to return the favor and like do as much as I can, be as considerate as possible, because I know without even knowing what I do, I think I can take and need from her. Like things I don't even know I need, you know what I mean? Or don't even realize I'm asking for.
You like, that's not being considerate. That's making her like, being considerate would be like, hey, Syd, my brother's coming over. I just wanted to let you know we're going to be using the kitchen table from 1 to 3 to work on some stuff. Is that cool? That's being considerate.
Mm-hmm.
Not being considerate is being like, hey, Ahri, Syd doesn't want us in the kitchen. When she has not said that, you're actually being inconsiderate of her, because you're putting an impression of her in my brain that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't do that again.
I don't care. But I like part of like what that does is it puts a wedge between her and I that doesn't exist.
Totally.
And like I would say that like most of Syd and I's relationship is through you, but we do have a relationship outside of you.
Yeah, I love that.
And you should want to facilitate that as much as possible and not drive wedges between it.
I know, and I've tried not to do that anymore. I try to like just let Syd is a really good communicator for the most part, and I try to let her.
Why did he need the for most part?
Because I do have some very serious flaws.
Okay.
No,
But you are a good communicator.
No, and I'm trying
Round
to just
up, motherfucker.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm trying to just let her ask for the things she needs instead of anticipating them too much, where it's like there's just no reason to do that. I'm creating problems where there aren't any. But
And he, for some reason, Noah thinks I'm like very hard to please, but I just don't think I am. Like, I think it's normal to want salt in your food
I agree.
and like not sleep on a blow up bed at 32 when like I get back spasms very easily. And then the last one is, I think it's okay for me to not like some of your friends' wives and to not want to hang out with them.
yeah, we have to cut this part. But
Why? I didn't say who.
no, I'm kidding.
You can cut it. I don't care.
No, I'm joking. No, I know. I'm just sensitive.
He's very sensitive.
We have I think this is a familial thing that I have as well, that I think, unfortunately got from our father. Our father comes from Holocaust survivors with no significant extended family. And he has always tried to build almost a shtetl kibbutz-like environment where everyone, all of my family, all of my friends, all of my colleagues, everybody is in one place and everyone can interact and like each other. And it makes, what it does is it creates this environment and a family that he never had. And I think that kind of came on to us.
Totally.
And that we want everyone to get along and we want everyone to like each other because it makes our lives easier. If you like Leslie, it makes my life easier. If you like XY, and I think that it's unfair to assume that other people want that too.
Yeah, and I also I think passed down from Dad. My life in LA is
He's
a
got
constant,
the rainbow penis too.
Yeah, he has a rainbow.
It's a
penis.
candy cane.
Oh, God.
I am in constant pursuit of recreating a family in LA. Like my friends, I don't look at them as my friends. They're like, they're uncles, they're cousins, they're, that's I'm looking for that. I'm trying to create what I have here in New Jersey.
Yeah.
There.
My therapist told me once that he's like, stop looking for another dad. You're not going to find him.
Dude, every boss I have,
Yikes.
I look at them as a father.
Yeah.
Every coach I've ever had, like everyone, I try to put that on them, and it's very unfair to them.
It's unhealthy.
It's unhealthy to me. It's unfair to them. Like I've recently in the last year have been able to kind of break that shit down and just accept people for who they are. And that my
Like
dad,
homeless men.
yeah.
Stop trying to make homeless men your father, Noah.
They're not.
Or do you want to air any? I've aired some grievances. Do you want to air any grievances about me? Either of you?
About you?
Yeah. What do you got?
I don't have any with you.
Yeah, you're
Really?
the best.
But I don't live near you. I'm sure if we lived near you and I had to see you all the time, something would annoy me.
I mean, I crave more time with you.
I crave more time.
I
with
crave
you.
more like working with you.
We're
He
gonna
craves
work.
it.
That's starting again.
You
We're
know,
gonna pick that project back up.
and but I honestly, man, like I am so proud of how far our relationship has come, and it's cool because Syd has really witnessed it. Syd has seen like the tail end of like, you know, we were never bad, but like we would like fight all the time, and there was always like just tension, and now it's like nothing but like love and support always. And I think us, like whatever you want to call it, a little bit of like a recess away from each other
For our working relationship.
from our working relationship,
Yes.
which was, it's hard to even call it a recess because we still worked together on a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
but
you
like,
literally just directed a bunch of shit for Nickelodeon together, like last year.
but it was like the way we were working before, I think was honestly just unhealthy. Like it was just not like a good way for two people to be involved. It was,
No, I think there's a couple things that happen. I think that you had an unrealistic expectation of the entertainment industry pre-pandemic
yeah.
that when the pandemic happened proved you wrong
Yeah.
in that, like, there's no one's going to take a meeting over, like literal conversation no one would have, like, Ahri, you got to be in LA. Nobody's going to take a meeting over the computer. I go, I think they'll take a meeting. He goes, no, you got to be face to face with these fucking people.
So
And that was why I kept fucking coming out, because I'd come out and he'd be like, well, if I need you to come out tomorrow for a meeting, I go, yeah, sure, I'll come out tomorrow. And I would come out on like a week's notice for meetings because he refused to believe that anyone would take a meeting over a computer.
I mean, I think at that time though,
At that time, they still would have done it, but it was
would have
not
been like, those guys.
Right. a writing job. You got a bunch of different fucking jobs. We stopped working together. We started doing our own things more. And then Nickelodeon came to us and were like, hey, come back together. And it was a great working environment.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to have built our own identity outside of each other so that like when we came together, it just, there wasn't the pressure of like, we gotta make it. We gotta, like it wasn't as much pressure on it.
Well, yeah, and that vibe in general, giving off the air of desperation, doesn't
terrible.
work in general.
Yeah.
It's toxic
It's horrible
for yourself, for the entire working
Yeah.
environment. And we never that never occurred to anybody on set with us for our show. Like, we never had that kind of desperation. It was purely
Fun.
Yeah,
It was breezy.
granted. Nobody ever saw our show and it never aired. And
it never aired.
A couple of episodes.
one episode aired.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
That's okay.
That's okay. I think none of us have that air of desperation anymore. Partially just from growing up, you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful for that. And something else that I'm like very excited about is recently everyone is telling me to give up and like go to cooking school or do something else. And I think that means I'm on the precipice of something.
I agree.
I think that is, I'm like so happy everyone's telling me to quit now.
Who's everyone?
My family.
Syd.
What?
If we listened to our family, we'd both be fucking chiropractors.
No, I know, but they haven't told me to quit before. And now they're all like, are you sad you're not successful? Like, you should go to cooking school. Like, have you thought about this? And I think
Define not successful.
We've
Like-
tried to on this podcast.
we've tried to. It's there's what I think is not successful. And then there's what like, boomers and like Gen X thinks is not successful.
Yeah, I mean, our parents' level of success is like we have to be
Bajillionaires.
right.
And like own a hideous home in a suburb that I don't want to live in.
This feels like a personal attack.
Not on you, not on your family. I'm talking about my family too.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, and everyone's parents, like, who are our age, have a similar idea of what success is.
Yeah.
I really believe that independent from the three of us, wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. That
Yeah.
if you're not successful by somebody else's standards, it's not because you're not successful. It's just because you're not meant to be at that place yet. You're not ready. Like, people will be like, you're ready, dude. You should do this. You should do that. You're ready. And I know I'm working my ass off. And if I'm not there, that means I'm not ready.
Yeah.
It's also just a way better headspace to operate in.
Yeah.
It's even if that's not true, it's just nothing good comes from being like, I'm not successful. Like, nothing good comes. Nobody wants to hang out with that person.
No. And you don't want to work with that person.
And those people quit.
Yeah.
Those people quit.
There's a comedian who quit right now who's just losing his mind on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Can't wait to see this.
It's sad. It's really sad.
What are they posting?
That like nobody ever gave him a shot, and
Oh.
he would do a lot of ghostwriting for big comedians, and those comedians would never help him out, and blah 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 blah. What was me?
If you're ghostwriting, it sounds like they're helping you out. Aren't they paying you for that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a level, like, I do a lot of ghostwriting, a lot. And you definitely get like frustrated in the sense of like, yeah, of course you wish it were you. You wish that your name was on something. No different than like you being a writer's assistant on a show, or you being a character actor on a show and not a fucking supporting actress or a lead. It's
Yeah.
like you always want more. That's human nature.
Yeah.
But like, all you have to worry about is like, okay, are you getting paid? Are you getting compensated? Are you able to survive and move on to the next day? And if you are, then that is progress towards your end goal.
Maybe there's not a connection here, but it's funny that I feel like Americans are always saying like there's no middle class anymore. But when people are actively living in middle class, they see those people as not successful. Does that make sense?
Say it again.
It's like,
Hold on,
let's use.
Just say it in French.
Et pauvres ont tout, et pas et tout et tout. Okay.
Wasn't even close.
I mean, Noah and I also have a made up language that we speak in fake Hebrew to each other.
I used to do that. I would come home from school and pretend I was speaking Hebrew, and my parents thought I was a genius. And then they went to like,
because they don't speak Hebrew.
they don't speak Hebrew.
That's so
But
funny.
we went to like a Hebrew speaking day school, and then when they went in for like parent teacher conferences, they're like, it's incredible, Syd's fluent in Hebrew. And my teacher's like, she's actively the worst one in the class. She doesn't speak a lick of Hebrew.
Have you ever heard the Kurt Braunohler Bruno story?
No.
So he auditions to be Bruno's assistant
In
for
the
in
Sacha
Bruno.
Baron Cohen. Yeah.
And they're like, in the audition, they're like, they want you to improvise basically because the whole movie is improvised.
Mhm.
And he improvises, and the casting director's like, great. And she's like, okay, now I want you to improvise in like a German accent. And he does that, and she's like, great. And she's like, and you know fluent German, right? And he's like, absolutely, I do. And he started to improvise in fake German. He doesn't speak German, but neither did the casting director. And she's like, amazing. And she's like, okay, I want you to come back and read with Sasha, who speaks fluent German.
He does?
Yeah.
Incredible.
And he's like, what the fuck do I do? So he goes to the audition, and he's supposed to like speak German to Sacha Baron Cohen, and he just starts speaking gibberish to Sacha Baron Cohen. So, like, Sacha Baron Cohen's known for like never breaking character, and he literally is like, what's happening? Like, why is it? And he's just going, who's in der Hasengate? Sasha, who's in there? And he like got like walked out of the room.
So I guess back to my grand point about the middle class in America is like, okay, let's just use our parents for example. The amount of success Like the level of success we have to get to for it to register is so grand. But like we are like the middle class of being a comedian. Like this is what it looks like. And nobody can it doesn't register to anybody.
Yeah.
And like here we are having the problem in America where there is no more middle class, but it's like we can't even see it. Like we can't even see that it exists.
There is a middle class, but nobody acknowledges it.
Let me just focus on comedy. There is a middle class of comedy, but those people are seen as failures. It's either your face is on a billboard or you're nothing.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll go even further. How many people we know whose face is on a billboard who are broker than us?
Right. Here's a big level setting thing for me. A couple years ago, a comedian, I'm not going to name who it was, who I was like, this person is successful. This is a person who's everyone's name knows.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's name knows.
Everybody's name knows.
Listen, these comedians, everybody's name knows.
Syd always says that I sometimes sound like I'm like an Eastern European immigrant.
Yeah.
Like the way I forget.
Everybody's name knows. Okay.
Okay, go.
Well, nice. So we get booked on a show together, a one-nighter upstate at a restaurant. And we do the show. We both do well. And at the end of the show, he is like begging people to buy CDs, like begging to buy CDs. And I'm like, I thought this, like, it wasn't like a, hey, I want to make a couple extra bucks. It was like pure desperation, like we were talking about earlier. You have to buy these CDs.
Yeah, and here's a CD player too.
Right, and they weren't like new CDs. They were like old CDs from like 10 years ago. And it just put everything in perspective that like, stop thinking about other people's like lives and whether or not they're doing well and just worry about what you're fucking doing. Because everyone has their own perspective of whether or not they are successful.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to see The Holdovers since I first saw the trailer in September.
Paul Giamatti, Alexander Payne, some other people.
Dominic Sessa.
And I thought it would be a good movie to see with my dad. It's just right up his alley. Again, he's a nostalgia freak. The movie's set in the 70s. I wanted to see with my brother. I wanted to see with my family. I thought this would be the Christmas Day movie. And obviously see it with my wife, Syd, who's also on this podcast. And and the plan was to wait until Christmas Day. We all get into New York.
Nope. You're skipping a huge part.
Okay, go.
Multiple times you would call me and I would be on a night off with Les and I'd go, I'm watching a movie. And you go, it better not be The Holdovers. I told you to wait for me. It better not be The Holdovers. 3 times you told me, you better not watch The Holdovers without me. I was on the road in a hotel watching a movie. Better not be The Holdovers. Continue. You get to fucking New York.
So we get to New York. We're figuring out our plan for Christmas Day. The Holdovers is not playing. The only place it's playing is online. And at that point, in my head, I say, we're not going to be able to see this movie with my brother. It's just not going to happen. We're too busy this week.
It's true. I don't have the internet here.
It's just not going to happen. I'm looking at the week. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to take, if I have a chance to see with my dad and my wife and my mother, I'm going to take it. So I did.
So without telling Ahri, he buys the movie on, where do you buy it? Amazon?
We rented it.
You rent the movie. Start watching
Important correction for the viewing audience. It was not purchased, it was rented.
It's rented.
Who the fuck cares?
So thanks, Ar. So we're watching it and Ari calls and
you call me.
I call them because we're trying to figure out what we're going to have for dinner. This is Christmas Day, Christmas morning. We stop the movie. We're about 20 minutes in. I call Ari. We're figuring out what we're going to have for dinner. Ari asks, what are you guys doing? And he said, what are you doing? And I say, we're watching The Leftovers.
The Holdovers.
I say, what? Ari call. I call Ari.
Hold on. Let's reset.
Why are you having
Noah
a stroke?
Findling, 35 years old, 33. How old are you?
32.
32 years old, 5'11", Los Angeles. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I call Ahri to figure out what we're having for dinner, Chinese food, but like what dishes we're ordering. And
Why did he go back so much
This
farther?
is so weird.
Why did you
Also,
go
this
back
story
so
is
far?
so boring.
no, people like it. And Ahri asks me, what are you doing? And I say, we're watching The Holdovers. And he goes, are you kidding me?
Huge fight. Not really.
Not really.
Because nobody cares.
No, but you guys got mad at me. And okay, where I wronged you is I should have, as soon as I knew we weren't going to watch with you, I should have gave you a heads up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have cared.
And we're watching this movie. I'm really happy we did it. It's one of my favorite movies of the year.
It's not that good.
Thanks.
I don't know if I've ever heard a movie that Noah really likes and Syd really likes.
We both really liked Poor Things. Or
Yeah.
did you not like it that much?
No, I liked it. But Ahri always comments on how Syd and I are living two different experiences.
We are.
When have I ever commented on that?
You said that before.
Never.
Like we've come back from an experience and I've been like, that was great. And you're like, that was bad. And you're like, what is happening?
Like what?
We
What?
see the world differently anyway.
So at some
Team
point,
Syd. Everyone knows. Team Syd.
so we're watching the movie and my dad is having a real connection to this movie. It, just like I thought he would. And at one point in the movie, one of the characters opens a closet and sees the clothing of their dead son. And my dad looks at Syd and I and he goes, have you guys ever opened the closet and seen your dead dad's clothes?
No, he goes, Noah, do you know what it's like to open the closet and see your dead dad's clothes?
Given that you're asking me this question, no. You're alive.
And we're like, no, we don't. We don't know what that's like. And he goes, I do. Okay.
It's a lot of what being with your dad is like.
It's a lot of unnecessary emotional connections to things that nobody. My dad is the beautiful mind of emotional connections to things that don't like. My dad is such a little autistic boy where he'll just see a butterfly and go, I remember 1966. I was standing outside the schoolyard and a butterfly landed on my the girl I like's face, and this moment reminds me of that. I hope she is well. It's like, no, Dad, it's just a butterfly. And he'll just start crying and he gets so emotionally connected to things instead of just being like, oh, that was a sweet moment,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's how we've grown, Ahri.
Me and you.
Yeah. When I wronged you for seeing The Holdovers, I apologized and I didn't explode. I just took it and I said I was sorry.
Okay, just so we're clear, that's not how we've grown. That's how you've grown. You are no longer a child. I didn't scream at you for you being upset, which I wasn't upset. You were texting me as if you had fucked my wife.
Yeah. Well,
I gotta pee.
So
What are we into this week?
yeah. Are you have anything? Is there anything you're like?
You guys
super
go
into?
first.
Okay. Syd?
I'm obsessed with this bagel place that you live above that has
That Ahri lives above.
that Ari lives above in
Yeah.
Hoboken, and it has hazelnut iced coffee. It's not sweet, it's just hazelnut.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's like $4 for a fucking huge cup. And I just love, I will say about the East Coast that I love, you can get like a cheap cup of coffee, whereas in LA, you absolutely cannot get
That's
a cheap
like an
cup of
$8 coffee. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
probably more than that.
Yeah.
What about you?
The Holdovers. Truly one of my favorite movies of the year. Absolute masterpiece.
Deeply not, but okay.
Fantastic.
Can I have multiple or just
Sure.
Okay. So the big one is it's just a this week thing, but it's not a this week for me because I'm not on this show every week. So this is like a couple months for me, but huge Taylor Swift kick. Syd and I were talking about it the other day. Like my daughter loves Taylor Swift, and it feels like the first thing that her and I can both have a connection to independently and together.
Yeah.
And like Taylor Swift is young enough, my daughter's young enough, and I'm young enough that we can kind of grow old with Taylor Swift and have it not be like, oh, a 22-year-old's going to like a fucking Roy Orbison concert. Like it wouldn't be weird if like she was 22 going to a Taylor Swift concert and I was 55 going to a Taylor Swift concert. And we both are like, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite song? Like, and we look up lyrics and we do, it's a lot of fun. That's like one of my big favorite things. The other thing is monk fruit.
Sweetener?
Yeah.
What have you been putting it on?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee? What? That's not good enough?
No, it's fine. We're anti-diet culture on this podcast. But good for you that you found a 0-calorie sweetener. How fun.
I will not apologize for my beliefs. Full stop.
Wait, can I say one more thing?
No.
This is making me...
the podcast is over.
All right.
Go. What is it?
Well, when Ahri and Syd started hanging out, my brother would be, the way my brother is with me, he would be with Syd and I would be embarrassed. And you refused to change.
Like what?
Like, I don't know. You would like get naked.
I've never seen your brother naked.
No, but I would like...
But you would threaten to get naked.
I think that's perfectly normal.
Okay. What is that noise? Oh, okay. I thought your tummy was making noises.
No, but I am getting hungry.
Okay, we'll have some apps after the pod.
Yeah.
So I believe in my relationship with my wife, with my friends, with my family, no games. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to be an asshole because I don't think I'm an asshole, but I'm not going to be a person that I think Syd wants me to be so that she likes me as Noah's brother. Like, I'm going to be me. And if she doesn't like that, then we're going to figure out how to coexist and then I will change. But I'm not going to pretend to be someone so that she likes me. If she likes me for who I am, great. If she doesn't, then I will be like, okay, what can I do so that we get along better?
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that.
I don't like games.
I think that's a good message for our audience to leave with for 2024.
Yeah, be yourself.
Be who you are. Don't change for your sister-in-law.
And have monk fruit because it's a good alternative.
Guys, thank you for tuning in.
I can't see Syd, but I assume she's making a face at me.
I am.
I want to thank you all for tuning in. This is making me think, though, of that waiter that we had the other night.
Oh, my God.
We had real quick before we go, we had a waiter the other night.
Stop doing the white power sign, please.
We had a waiter the other night who gave the longest goodbye to the table. He was like, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming in tonight. I've been Jeff. It's really wonderful to see all of you. Thank you so much. We have all different kinds of food on this menu, and if you come back, you can try more of them. I really hope to see you here. Goodbye. Like
it was so
long.
long.
It was like an NPR
It
podcast.
was so long.
It was so bizarre. We were all like looking at each other like while he was talking.
Was I there?
No.
No,
He made eye contact with me for most of it.
Yeah.
It was so
Ooh,
bizarre.
Sexual. Did you feel a connection?
No.
They always do. Okay. Anyways, guys, this has been the Bedtime Podcast with our guest, Ahri Findling. Ahri, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, follow me at BARACKOBAMA.
What was that? Barkamama?
Barack Obama.
Oh.
No, Ahri has a podcast
I got
too.
a podcast called Never Not Tired. It's about parenting, but very loose about parenting. And it's a lot of fun. And even if you don't have kids, and follow me at They Call Me Ahri, spelled AHRI, on all platforms.
Guys, please write a review. We
Write
need
a
some
review.
reviews.
Write it.
We really do. And you can subscribe to our Patreon. We have all different levels. And I don't know.
Do you have a level where I'll send them nudes?
I've been trying to do that for so long. It's $500 a month and I send nudes. So if you think that's a good idea, DM us because I will do it.
Well,
Can I say one more thing? I know we're going to sign off.
Yeah.
Okay. In the middle of the pandemic, Syd sent me a text that was just like, hey, I haven't asked your brother this, but should I start doing feet pics online? Like unprompted. I hadn't asked anything. She was just like, should I start selling pictures of my feet? Do you think I'd make money?
I've tried. It's really hard. You can find me on Feet Finder. I forgot my name. I think it's like Princess Baby Toes or something.
yeah, but you don't put your picture on it, so it doesn't do well.
It doesn't do well because I won't put my face.
Put my face on. Put Noah's face.
You have you need to trim your toenails. This is disgusting.
Why?
Me.
Oh, that one is fucking long.
Ew. I've
Oh my
had to
God.
pee for so long. I'm going to bed and I'm going pee.
Okay.
Good night, guys.
Good night,
Love you.
guys.
Good night, sleepyheads.
It's the Bedtime Podcast.